Having listened to that argument, has decided that he can be named.
7-year-old girl, now confirmed, all died as a result.
We've seen this weekend. Be in no doubt, those that have participated in this violence will face the full force of the law.
Southport, a town known for its warmth, its spirit, its charm. July 29, 2024 began like any other summer day. The sun was high, children laughed in parks and families strolled along the pier. But the idyllic facade was about to shatter. Tragedy struck at the heart of the community, leaving an indelible scar on Southport's soul. At 3:15 p.m, a chilling alarm pierced the air. A fire, a crash. The sounds were unclear. What was clear was the terror in the voices that filled the emergency lines. All calls led to one location, Heartspace, a beloved dance studio on the edge of town, a place of joy, movement and expression now transformed into a scene of unimaginable horror. The idyllic summer day had dissolved into a nightmare. Southport, forever changed, braced itself for the long journey of healing and remembrance. The fight for understanding had begun. The quest for justice, even more daunting. Heartspace was more than just a dance studio. It was a sanctuary, a second home to countless children and teenagers. On that fateful afternoon, the studio buzzed with activity. A summer dance workshop was in full swing. Young dancers, brimming with excitement, practiced their routines. Parents chatted in the waiting area, their faces lit with pride. Then everything changed. A deafening roar, the screech of metal. The building shook violently. Screams filled the air, replacing the joyous music. Panic surged through the studio. Parents scrambled towards the chaos, desperate to reach their children. Inside, amidst the debris and the dust, the true heroes of that day emerged. Dance instructors, without a thought for their own safety, sprang into action. They shepherded children out of the collapsing building, guiding them to safety with unwavering courage. Their quick thinking and selflessness saved countless lives, but the tragedy was far from over.
The scene was absolute chaos. I remember the fear in my child's eyes. It was a nightmare come to life.
As the dust settled, the true extent of the devastation became horrifyingly clear. The crash had claimed the lives of two beloved members of the Southport community. B.B. King, a young dancer with a contagious smile and a passion for ballet, was gone. Elsie Stancombe, a devoted grandmother who volunteered at the studio, was also lost. The news of their deaths ripped through Southport like a storm, leaving behind a trail of heartbreak and disbelief. The families of the deceased grappled with unimaginable grief, their lives shattered by the sudden loss. But they were not alone in their sorrow.
It was just so sudden. One moment everything was fine, and the next our world was turned upside down. BB and Elsie were such bright lights in our community.
The entire community shared their pain, offering condolences, support, and a shoulder to cry on. The injured, some with serious wounds, began their long and arduous journey towards recovery. Physical scars would heal, but the emotional trauma of that day would forever linger in their hearts. In the wake of the tragedy, Southport came together as one. The community rallied around the families of the victims, offering support, comfort, and solace. Memorials sprang up across town, adorned with flowers, candles, and heartfelt messages of love and remembrance. The outpouring of grief was overwhelming, a testament to the profound impact BB and Elsie had on the lives they touched. Churches opened their doors, offering prayers and solace to those seeking comfort. Grief counselors arrived from neighboring towns, providing much-needed support to those struggling to cope with the trauma. The community, united in grief, found strength in shared sorrow.
Baby and Elsie will always be remembered. Their legacy of kindness and love will continue to inspire us all. In times of darkness, we must hold on to the light they brought into our lives.
The memory of BB and Elsie became a beacon of light, a reminder of the preciousness of life and the importance of cherishing every moment. Their legacy of kindness, compassion, and love would forever inspire the people of Southport. But as the initial shock began to fade, a new wave of emotions threatened to divide the community. The investigation into the crash at Heartspace revealed a horrifying truth. It was no accident. A deliberate act of violence had shattered the peace of their community.
The perpetrator, a young man with a history of anti-immigration sentiment, had targeted the dance studio because of its diverse student body. He sought to sow fear and division, to turn neighbor against neighbor.
The revelation sent shockwaves through Southport. The community, already reeling from grief, now grappled with anger, fear, and a profound sense of betrayal. The very foundation of their town, built on tolerance and inclusivity, felt shaken to its core. Tensions ran high as the community struggled to come to terms with the motive behind the attack.
Some residents, fueled by anger and fear, demanded swift justice. Others, clinging to their belief in compassion and understanding, urged restraint. The tragedy had exposed a deep-seated divide within Southport, a chasm that threatened to swallow the very values that held the community together.
In the aftermath of the tragedy, Southport faced the daunting task of restoring order and seeking justice. The police department, working tirelessly, apprehended the perpetrator within hours of the attack. The swiftness of their response provided a small measure of comfort to a community desperate for answers.
The legal process began, but it would be a long and arduous journey. The trial would reopen old wounds, forcing the community to relive the horrors of that day. But it would also provide an opportunity for healing, for justice to be served, and for the voices of the victims to be heard.
As the legal battle raged on, the community of Southport refused to be defined by the tragedy. They channeled their grief into action, organizing rallies, vigils, and fundraisers to support the victims' families and promote healing. Amidst the grief and anger, seeds of hope began to sprout in Southport. The community, though wounded, refused to be defined by the tragedy. They drew strength from their shared pain, finding solace in unity and compassion. Vigils, once somber affairs, transformed into celebrations of life, love, and the unbreakable spirit of Southport.
Support groups emerged, offering a safe space for survivors, witnesses, and community members to share their stories, their fears, and their hopes for the future. The healing process was slow, often painful, but it was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit.
The community center became a hub of activity, hosting art therapy sessions for children, grief counseling for adults, and interfaith gatherings that brought people of all backgrounds together. The shared pain of the tragedy had chipped away at the walls of division, revealing a deeper sense of interconnectedness. The journey towards healing was long and arduous, marked by setbacks and triumphs. The families of Bibi and Elsie faced the unimaginable pain of rebuilding their lives without their loved ones. The physical and emotional scars of the injured lingered, a constant reminder of the tragedy.
Yet, even in the darkest of times, the community's spirit refused to be extinguished. They found strength in their shared grief, drawing comfort from the outpouring of support from across the nation and around the world. Therapists, both local and from afar, volunteered their time and expertise, providing counseling and support to those struggling to cope.
Southport, once known for its idyllic charm, now became a symbol of resilience, a testament to the power of the human spirit to overcome even the most unimaginable adversity. The Southport tragedy served as a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the ever-present threat of hate and intolerance. But it also illuminated the profound capacity for love, compassion, and unity that resides within the human heart. The community emerged from the darkness with a renewed sense of purpose.
They vowed to honor the memory of Bibi and Elsie by fighting for a more just and compassionate world. They organized workshops and seminars, educating themselves and their children about the dangers of prejudice and discrimination. They reached out to marginalized communities, building bridges of understanding and fostering a climate of inclusivity.
The tragedy, though born out of hate, became a catalyst for positive change, a testament to the power of love to conquer even the darkest of times. The Southport tragedy was a stark reminder of the darkness that can lurk in the shadows of humanity. But it also illuminated the extraordinary resilience of the human spirit, the unwavering power of love, and the unbreakable bonds of community. Southport, forever marked by the events of that day, emerged stronger, more united, and more determined than ever to create a world where such tragedies are never repeated.
The journey was far from over, but the community knew that together they could overcome any obstacle. The memory of Bibi and Elsie would forever serve as a beacon of light, guiding them towards a brighter future. Their legacy of kindness, compassion, and love would continue to inspire generations to come.
The Southport tragedy was a turning point, not just for the community, but for the nation as a whole. It sparked a national conversation about hate, intolerance, and the urgent need for unity and understanding. Across the country, communities came together to mourn the loss of innocent lives and to reaffirm their commitment to creating a more just and compassionate society.
The road ahead would be long and challenging, but the people of Southport knew they were not alone. They had the support of a nation, united in grief and determined to create a world where love triumphs over hate, where understanding bridges divides, and where every child can dance freely without fear.
The legacy of Southport would be one of resilience, unity, and hope. It would be a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit to overcome even the darkest of times and emerge stronger, more compassionate, and more determined than ever to build a brighter future.